subject that can be kind of sensitive, but it's web scraping. And so, first of all, I want to dive into the technical aspects of this and show you kind of like how really easy it is to web scrape and to set it up overall. And then, secondarily, we'll go into like the legalities of it and kind of discuss around all of this, which is front 100% legal. So let's kind of dive in here. And then, so the first thing to set up. So I've created, this is an eBay and Amazon arbitrage scraper. And then that's just what I chose this to be. It was really easy to set up technically. And then so essentially I just have this one package to install here. And then once that package is installed, then I have my code, which is very straightforward, which is just importing from this package. And then I'll run it here. And then this is running, and it's picking up essentially from here. It'll go to Amazon.com and eBay.com, and then I have it. So I just replace the keywords, and then once I launch and I start the code, then it puts in, and I put the keywords in here, right? And so I've been kind of experimenting with video games. So I put like Super Mario Brothers 2, and I put like a maximum price. And then so I like this because I know, so like Super Mario Brothers 2, to my knowledge, goes for around like $20 on the like retail market. So let's say like I want to try to find a copy of Super Mario Brothers 2 for $10 or less. And then from here, it searches both Amazon and eBay. And then from Amazon, we got an error. It's erroring on Super Mario Brothers 2, so it's not finding anything there for our price range of $10 or less. But on eBay, we get a bunch of hits. And then so we'll go through, and then let's click through here. Super Mario Brothers 2 for DS. And then so I didn't specify, right? And then so I have no idea how much Super Mario Brothers 2 for DS goes for. Apparently, no, it goes for, I guess, this is going to end in, so this is good. I wasn't expecting the 3DS version, but so here's Super Mario Brothers 1. So you can see it's not 100% perfect, right? And then so that's the thing to point out. Like you do still have to go through here. What's this one for $3.24? Oh, region free, and it's we can see it's already been bidded up, right? And then so that's the other thing too. So it's not perfect as far as like exactly what it's going to pick up, and then it's not perfect as far as like if it's already been bid on. And then so let's pick a different example here. So let's we'll do like Super Mario Brothers 2 3. We'll do like NES, and then let's say $10 again. Same thing, we error on Amazon, but then we take a look, and then let's look at eBay. There we go. It's exactly what I was looking for, right? But so this is giving us times that are ending, and then so from here, there's like a few different modifications that I could do from this, and this would be really easy, right? To make these types of modifications, like I can make the modifications for eBay to only have it like look for like buy it now, as opposed to the like auctions, things like that. And then so just from here, but it's, I mean, this is upfront, like this is exactly what I'm looking for, right? Like I'm looking for cheap versions of Mario Brothers, and this ends in 23 hours. I could also set it for like time limits. So show me only auctions that are ending in the next 2 hours. I could also set rules on this to like run and like update the keywords. So it's like like that auction that's ending in 23 hours. I'd say run it every 2 hours or run it every 20 hours, 12 hours, etc. And then pull the data and then notify me if there's something that falls within that criteria, right? There's something I should like buy it now because it's gonna like bid on it now because it's under $10 and the auction's ending like 5 minutes. You can set up those these types of scraping tools just really easily and straightforward. And then you can do this for pretty much anything that you like, right? So let's talk about the legalities now, because so from the technical standpoint, what I want to point out is that this is, if you know what you're doing, it's beyond easy to set up, right? This is just a really simple Google. I'm running this in Google Colab, no GPU, anything like that. So this is like very simple resources, and you can see it doesn't take anything as far as resources, less than a gig of RAM. Like I could do this from my cell phone, no issues at all, right? But so legalities, and then so just up front with the very first like Google AI summarization thing, it says it's generally legal if it doesn't violate the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, or any terms of service agreements. So that's I guess that's probably a big one of any service terms of service agreements, because I know like Reddit, for example, they've changed their terms of services so that you can't scrape. So like um, that terms of service agreement might be a big one. But so diving into the two acts that it talks about there, the big acts really only apply to like PII and personal identifiable data, personally identifiable information. So if you're trying to like you can't scrape like phone numbers and names and like things like that, right? But this eBay data that we've been looking at, 100% fine as long as it's within eBay's terms of services. And then maybe it might not be with Amazon's, which no, I've pulled results back from the Amazon one as well, so I know it was just that it's under the price range there. Here's a case for eBay, very specifically, that eBay sued Bidder's Edge, and then eBay successfully sued that scraping activity exhausted its system and could potentially cause more harm. And then all of these laws came under challenge, and then the extent of enforcement depends. And so, essentially, what we're reading here is that, let's go to the conclusion. The legality of using bots to grab information for public websites remains unclear. It's indeed a gray area, as many applicable laws were written well before the widespread use of the internet or the development of generative AI, and which laws take priority hasn't been resolved yet. In an environment where constant efforts are made to legitimize web scraping, it's difficult to see this bot problem going away soon. Do the existing laws need to be updated to deal with the problem? Should new legislation be introduced to provide more clarity? Certainly, but as courts try to decide the legality of further scraping, companies still having their data stolen and the business logic of their websites abused. So, like, article is definitely very clearly taking a stance against web scraping, but even in their conclusion, where they're stating that it's kind of ethically gray or legally gray, they don't state how exactly it is legally gray. And then so let's look at a few more. Amplify, is web scraping legal? Yes, if you know the rules. So this one might be more clarifying here. This article was updated in 2024. Perfect. Contrary to popular belief, there's nothing shady or illicit about web scraping itself. That does not mean that any kind of web scraping is legal. Like all human activity, it needs to remain within certain boundaries. In web scraping, the most important boundaries are personal data, as I mentioned, and intellectual property regulations. So that's the terms of service. But other factors, such as the website's terms of service, can play a role as well. If you want to learn more about the legality of web scraping, read on. Web scraping is legal if you scrape data publicly available on the internet. But some kinds of data are protected by international regulations or confidential data. So IP or confidential data. Not at all. Not at all. So this article is kind of like the exact opposite of the previous article, right? And so we've got a bias here the other way, and I can go through it, but you can see. I mean, it's essentially the top two articles. Like one is biased one way, and the second one's biased the other way, and then whichever one you want to go. But they both, even in this bias, reach this same conclusion, which is that this is not. There's nothing illegal whatsoever about scraping data, and then so what you do from there is what you do from there. But so like I see, like, I mean, a lot of people, especially with regards towards like the AI community and things like that, are really big on like something's going to happen with regards towards scraping data or anything along those lines, right? These have been the laws, and these laws have been tested now for decades, and they're in existence, and I don't see personally anything with regards towards AI that changes these laws. And I'm not a lawyer, right? So I mean, maybe a lawyer could easily put out a video and say this guy's full of BS. Like here's like exactly how AI would be differentiated in this instance. But then what I would tell to that lawyer is like, where's the proof? Right? Proof's always in the pudding, even if you're a lawyer. And so within that, I mean, nothing. Every single thing that we're looking at here uh, is showing that from a technical standpoint, it is beyond simplistic. I'll link and I'll give you the link to this exact collab in the description for this video, so you can see and try this out yourself. You can play around with the code. You can do anything that you like with regards towards scraping. If you want to modify it, it's yours to do anything that you would like with. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.